On the hockey team, most of us are viewed as idiots, so the only thing we can get into is econ arts.
I believe McGill integrates technology well in classrooms.
I chose neutral because I think there's some teachers that use it very well, but I think there's still a strong majority of teachers that use blackboards and chalk.
I chose disagree. Just being an art student, we don't particularly use a lot of technology, so that's not something that I am exposed to a lot.
I chose disagree because besides EDPT, most of my classes only use simple PowerPoint slides to teach.
McGill was my first choice.
I only applied to Rotman and McGill, but ultimately, when I visited the Rotman campus or at U of T, it was very destitute and the students looked really sad, whereas when I came to McGill, everyone looked very happy and everyone was hanging out with each other, so ultimately McGill was my first choice.
I decided to choose neutral because I was planning on attending a different university before I got in.
I regret coming to McGill.
I chose strongly agree because being in management, the number one most important thing is networking and getting a high GPA, and McGill doesn't necessarily offer the best networking opportunities, and it's very academically rigorous, which makes it difficult to get a high GPA. And so I definitely regret going to McGill rather than going to Ivy or one of the easier business schools where it's easier to get a job and easier to maintain a high GPA.
I chose strongly disagree because I really like it here so far and I'm learning a lot.
I appreciate the academic rigor of McGill compared to other schools.
I chose neutral because part of me feels I do enjoy the academic rigor because it makes me learn more. But also sometimes I think at McGill it gets too focused on your grades and just causes people stress. So, yeah.
I chose strongly disagree because my plan is to go to law school, and I know that you need to have really good grades to be able to get into a program, and I worry that with the rigor of McGill's academics, I won't be able to achieve that.
I chose agree because I think it helps students form a good work ethic, which will be useful in the future.
I have been stereotyped because of my faculty.
I put strongly agree because I think a lot of students on campus have negative perceptions of students in management in that they presume that we're sharks or really snaky or exclusive, which is, I guess, the case from the outsider's perspective, but when you're actually in the faculty, it's a very community-oriented faculty and everyone knows each other and hangs out together.
I chose neutral because I don't think I've had any outward stereotype towards arts, so there's nothing that I really have to say on it.
I chose strongly agree because on the hockey team, most of us are viewed as idiots, so the only thing we can get into is econ arts.
My education has caused me stress and/or anxiety.
I chose strongly agree because most professors at McGill are focused on their research and not focused on helping students. This makes us have to teach ourselves hard material with a time crunch for exams.
I chose strongly agree because in management, it's really important what your GPA is for recruitment and to get the job that you ultimately want after graduation. And so in that respect, my education has caused me a lot of stress and a lot of late nights and not sleeping because I'm constantly worried about my GPA and what grades I'm going to get so that I can get the job that I want to get after graduation.
There should be a fall reading week.
I chose strongly agree because I think that it would provide like a stress-free week, which it would be nice.
The reason I chose strongly disagree is because we would have to come in a week earlier in August, and also I wouldn't even get to go home for the reading week because we're in hockey season, so I'd stay in McGill anyways.
I don't worry about getting a job or getting into grad school.
It's definitely something that I used to worry about a lot, like when I was in second year especially, doing core classes in management and trying to get a good GPA, and I worried a lot about getting a job and whether or not I would get an internship and things like that. But now that I'm in fourth year and I have a job, it's not something that I worry about at all anymore. So it's definitely evolved over my time at McGill, so I don't think there's like one right answer to it.
I chose strongly agree because I plan on moving back with my parents when school's done.
I miss McGill samosas.
I said disagree because I always thought it was kind of gross that it was just all these samosas in like a box together, people grabbing them.
I chose strongly disagree because the samosas gave me food poisoning.
McGill has equipped me well to handle the real world.
I feel McGill has not particularly equipped me for life because half the stuff we learn in especially econ is with all these constraints and restrictions and assumptions, which is never going to happen in the real world.
I chose agree because for me, coming to McGill, I moved away from home, so that's definitely allowed me to gain independence and become ready for the real world. However, not all of my classes have necessarily prepared me for what I'll face in my job.
I chose neutral because since I haven't completed my first term yet, I'm not really sure, but hopefully it will.
Thanks so much for watching. As you can tell, not all McGill students think alike.
We really enjoyed EDPT 200. Thank you, Sam.